Welcome back, dear students of class 7. Today, we are going to start with the part 3 of our chapter 5 spreadsheet and introduction. Students, in this part, we will talk about a new topic moving around the spreadsheet, okay, and entering data in a worksheet and types of data inside the worksheet, okay. In the previous parts, we had studied about features of Microsoft Excel, starting Microsoft Excel, what is the Excel workbook, what is the Excel worksheet, and different components of a Excel worksheet. Okay, so in this part, let us start with this moving around a spreadsheet. So, uh, let's start with this moving around a spreadsheet. So this is an Excel spreadsheet, students. Okay, now this is a cell, and right now this is an active cell. Suppose this B2 is an active cell. Now why B2 is active cell? Because B2 has this black colored border that is surrounding it. Okay, dark black colored border that is surrounding the cell B2. This dark black colored border is, remember, is called as the cell pointer. We had studied this in the previous lectures. Okay, so this is a cell pointer, and because of this cell pointer, currently, which is my active cell, it is my B2 cell. Okay, and it is shown in the name box that B2 is active. Now because B2 is active, now I can enter my data inside the cell B2. So if I press enter, I'll come one cell down. Okay, now B3 is active. Now I can I can enter my data in B3 and so on. Now students, why why could I enter these data in these cells? Because these cells were active. Okay, only when a particular cell is active, only then you can insert the data in that particular cell, or you can delete the data from that particular cell. Okay, so let's start with this topic, moving around the spreadsheet. So what they are saying is that to input data in a worksheet, we have to move the cell pointer from one cell to another cell with the help of various shortcut keys which are defined in this table. Now what they are saying is that suppose I entered something in cell A1. Now I have written name. Okay, this is my data, name is my data, which is in A1. Now if I want to enter something in this cell B1, so I need to make it active. That means I need to move from A1 to B1, and for this movement, okay, for this movement of from one cell to another cell, okay, we are going to use these shortcut keys. So what is the first shortcut key? It is the right arrow key. Okay, the right arrow key. So let's talk about this right arrow key. I'll just show you a quick this is my keyboard. Okay, these are my arrow keys. Okay, this is my right arrow key. So suppose this is my active cell and I have entered something in this. Now what is the use of this right arrow key? It moves one column to right. If you press on this arrow key, I have not pressed it as of yet. If I press on this, then it will, right now it is on A1, that is column number A. Okay, column A, it is in column A. Right now the current active cell is in column A. Okay, if I press this, see the cell which is to the right, that is B1, okay, which is in column B, will become active, and now I can enter my data in this cell. Now after entering the data, if I want to move to the next cell, I'll just click on this right arrow key. Okay, and see the right now the C1 is active, and so on. Okay, so this is how we move towards the right. Now if I want to move towards the left, then I have to use the left arrow key, moves one column to the left. So if I press on the left arrow key, see, I was on C1, okay, and now I came to B1, okay, then A1 and so on. So it is doing the same work but in a opposite manner to what the right arrow key was doing. So right arrow key is used to move one column to the right, and left is used to move one column to the left, one, okay, one at a time. Then next is the up arrow key and down arrow key. So up arrow key moves one row up, and down arrow key moves one row down. Okay, fine. So see what they are trying to say. Suppose I am on A1. So now I cannot use this up arrow key because this is the topmost cell. Okay. So if I want to come down to A2, I need to press this down arrow key. Now when I was on A1, row number 1, I was in row number 1. But when I pressed this, I came to row number 2. So I am moving one row to the down. Okay, if I want to come more downwards, okay, I keep on pressing this. Okay, if I want to go up, then I'll press this up arrow key. So I hope you understood the use of these 4 arrow keys which are there on our keyboard. Okay, now students, alternatively, instead of using this arrow key, we can directly use our mouse pointer also to take our mouse pointer on the cell which we want to make active, and then just click on that particular cell. So if I want to make G1 active, I'll just click on this G1 cell. I want to make M1 active, M, and so on. So if you like using the mouse, you can use the mouse. If you don't like using the mouse, because there are people who just use the keyboard to do all the tasks, okay, and they are pretty fast at it because they don't have to again and again touch the mouse. They don't leave the keyboard and touch the mouse, and it makes them very fast. Okay, so those people know all the different shortcut keys. So if you want to use the keyboard all the time, then you can use these arrow keys. If you don't want, then you can use the mouse keys as well, but you need to remember what these keys do. Okay, let's talk about the next shortcut keys that help us move. So next 2 shortcut keys are page up and page down. Okay, so let's talk about page up and page down. Now see, as their name suggests, page up and page down. So page up is going to take us to one page up, and page down is going to take us one page down. Okay, the entire page. Now we are not talking about a single cell or a single row or a single column. We are talking about the entire page. So suppose this is my first page of the worksheet, which contains 19 19 rows. Okay, till 19 I can see. 20 I can't see the 20th row, right? And I can see till P over here. If I zoom, I can see. If I zoom, okay, if I zoom, now I can only see less number of this rows and less number of columns, but it's because I had clicked on the zoom button. Okay, so right now I can see these 18 rows and column till n. Okay, so this is my first page. On the next page I will have the 19th row and so on. Okay, so these are different pages. Notice that when I move downwards, look at this scroll bar which is on the right hand side. Look at this scroll bar. It becomes smaller and smaller and smaller. You know why? Because this scroll bar can help us to change pages. See, this is the first page, and if I go down, okay, with the help of this scroll bar, if I click over here, I'll keep on moving downwards. See, I'm moving downwards. Okay, see, I'm moving downwards because I have clicked on this. Okay, so I can do this also, but suppose I don't want to do that. So what I'll do, okay, I just want to use the keyboard to change the page. Okay, to change the page. Now right now my active cell is on first row. Okay, if I want to go one page down, see, I will click on this page down button and see what happens. Right now I am on first row. See, as soon as I click on page down, what happens? See, I came to the next page, 19 onwards. Okay, if I click on page down once again, what will happen? See, I came to 35. Okay, and so on. So I am not changing a single I am not changing single cells. I am changing a group of cells, okay, which are there on my different pages. Okay, so if I keep on pressing page down, I will keep on changing different pages. And what will page up do? It will take me one page up. Okay, right now it is this is page down was taking me page down, right? 273. Now it will take me to the next page, which is on 290, and so on. Okay, so if I want to go up, then I will click on page up, and you can see that these are changing by pages. So this is the work of page up and page down. Okay, so they are helping us to move the active cell head to the next sheet, and can also be used as an alternative to the scroll down on the worksheet. So this is the scroll down. See, this is the scroll down. Okay, now remember, page up and page down help us only in vertical scrolling. They don't help us in horizontal scrolling. Okay, for horizontal scrolling we can use this horizontal scroll. Okay, so page up and page down help us to change the pages vertically. Okay, now the next buttons are control plus home and control plus end. So what is the work of control plus home? First let me explain you what is the work of control plus home. So control plus home moves the cell pointer to the first cell of the topmost row, that is A1. What this means is that, suppose I came over here using this page down button. I came to the very down bottom. Okay, suppose I came to this cell, which is A1288, row number 1288, and I typed something over here. Okay, chapter 5, suppose, or chapter 5. I have typed something in this cell. Okay, now if I want to go to my first cell, I have to press this page up many times, yes or no? Instead of that, I can press a shortcut key, which is control. See, I've pressed the control button, it has become white, and then I'll press this home. Okay, control plus home. See, I directly came to my first cell. Okay, now if you remember, we were on this cell 1288, something like this. Let's check that cell. Where is it? See, 1288, over here we were, right? This was the cell that we were on, and as soon as I press control plus home, I went to the first cell, that is my A1, which is the topmost cell. Move the cell pointer to the first cell of the topmost row. Okay, so if you are anywhere in the worksheet, if you directly want to go to your first cell, you will click control plus home. Okay, so this is the use of your control plus home. Now see students, control plus end. Now you will think, sir, control plus end will do exactly what control plus home does, but in a opposite manner. Okay, no, it will take the cell pointer to the last used cell. It will not take us to the last cell. As you know, our last cell is what? XFD 1048576. This is our last cell. This one is my last cell. Okay, yes or no? But control plus home will not take me to this last cell, but it will take me to the last used cell. Okay, which was the last used cell? I bet it was 1288, right? Yes. So let's go to that cell. Okay, let's again go to that cell quickly and type something else in that cell, because I have just used. Okay, so this is my 1288 cell. Okay, suppose I am typing over here MS Excel. Okay, so now this has become my last used cell. Okay, I will quickly press control plus home to go to the first cell, and now I want to come to the last used cell. Move the cell pointer to the last used cell. Look over here, this is the keyword last used cell on the spreadsheet. So this means that it will take you to that cell which was in which the data was entered or something was done in that cell. Okay, so if I come to my worksheet and I press control plus end, see, it has taken me to this 1 to 8, this row. Okay, so what does this? It takes the cell pointer to the last used cell on the spreadsheet. So it takes me to that row which near which the last used cell was. Okay, it does not take me to the last cell of the spreadsheet. Okay, so this is the use of control plus home and control plus end. Okay, so with this we finish this topic, that is moving around the spreadsheet. Okay, now let's talk about this new topic, entering data in a spreadsheet. Okay, or entering data. Now students, in this topic you have to follow these procedures that are shown over here, and you have to create this table over here. Okay, so this is a topic for your practice. Okay, now you have to perform exactly what they have said over here. So what you have to do, you have to open a new workbook. So you have to open a workbook. Okay, so you know how to open a workbook. Go to start, okay, all programs, and then go to Microsoft Office, and then click on Microsoft Excel 2010, and this is how you open a new workbook. So you have opened the new workbook. Okay, now what you need to do, now you need to follow these instructions. Okay, by default the sheet 1 is active. So see this, by default this sheet 1 is active. Okay, now click on the cell D1 and type weekly expenses. So what they are saying, click on this cell D1 over here, this is D1, and you need to type what, weekly expenses in capital. Now if you can see, this weekly expenses is covering D and E also. Yes or no? It's not, because it is a big word, weekly expenses, that's why it is not fitting inside this cell D. Okay, D1. It is also covering some part of E1. So what they are saying is that now select the cell range where you entered the text. That means this text is covering D1 and E1. So you have to select both D1 and E1. Okay, by using the shift button you can select both. See, press on D1, press shift button, and then click on this E1. So now this range has been selected. After selecting this range, okay, click on the merge and center button in the alignment group on the home tab. So on the home tab, okay, in the alignment group there is a merge and center button. They are telling us to click on this. See, as soon as I click on this button, what is going to happen is that, see, these two cells got merged. D1 and E1 got merged and they became one cell. Okay, see, now this is a single cell, A1, then B1, C1, and then this is D1. Okay, and now this is F1 because D1 and E1 got merged into D1. Okay, because we have selected merge and center. So what happened, the selected cells D1 and E1 merged and the text will be centered. So whatever this text was written, weekly expenses, got centered. That means center alignment. Okay, now click on the cell A2. So this is our A2. Okay, so on the cell A2, this is our A2. In A2 we need to type what? In A2 we need to type, click on the cell A2 and type items. Okay, so ITEMS. Okay, then after typing this, press the right arrow key and type Monday. Okay, so after clicking on this A1, you have to press the right arrow key and type what? Monday. Okay, then again you will press the right arrow key and you have to press you have to type Tuesday. Okay, and so on. You need to follow all these instructions that are written, which are very simple instructions, and you need to create this table. Now I have already created this table. Okay, over here, see, I have already created this table. Now you'll ask, so how did you change the color of this? So what I did, I just selected this cell and I went to this font, okay, which is on home tab, font group, and this is the font color. Okay, so whichever color you want, suppose green color is given, so I've selected green color and this got green color. So for changing the color of these cells also, I selected from here to here, okay, using the shift button. Okay, the range I have selected, and I use whichever color I liked. So because it's given red in our book, so I've selected red. So you need to type this table out. I have typed it. You need to type it on your own, and you need to create this complete table. Okay, so you do that on your own. You'll do it now. Okay, and this table will come in use later on. So this is how you are going to learn how to enter data in a worksheet. Okay, the next topic is types of data. Okay, the next topic is types of data. Okay, so what is types of data? There are three types of data that can be entered into a Microsoft Excel worksheet. What are these three types? Numbers, text, and formula. Okay, so there are three types of data that we can enter inside an Excel, a Microsoft Excel worksheet: numbers, text, and formula. Let's study about them. So suppose this is my this is the data that I had entered inside my Microsoft Excel worksheet. Okay, let me close this. This is not needed as of now. Okay, so this is the data that I have entered. So let's talk about numbers first. Okay, numbers are the values that consist of numerals from 0 to 9 and characters like plus, minus, exclamation, at the rate, percentage. This is exponent. So these are different mathematical symbols. Okay, so see, this is a number. This is a number, right? This is 5. Okay, it comes in 0 to 9. Okay, this is 10. This also comes in 0 to 9 because this 10 is made up of 1 and 0, and 1 and 0 are both part of the digits from 0 to 9. Yes or no? So all these are numbers. Okay, and we can insert numbers in Microsoft Excel. Okay, what more comes in numbers? The different mathematical and different special symbols like this plus. Okay, this is also a part of numbers type of data. Okay, then minus. Okay, minus, then your exclamation. Okay, exclamatory mark, then at the rate. Okay, then your dollar symbol, hash symbol. Okay, percentage symbol. This is the exponent symbol, which is used for carrying out exponent or carrying out powers. Okay, so you'll study about these mathematical symbols later. Okay, so these are the different symbols, and there are many more symbols like this asterisk symbol, which is used for multiplication. Okay, so all these symbols also come in the numbers category because these are used in calculation. Okay, so now what is the speciality of numbers? They can be used in calculation. So I can do calculation on these data. Okay, so suppose on Monday, suppose I want to know what are the total expenses on Monday, so I can just do a calculation using this auto sum feature and see, I have calculated that on Monday 22 total expense was 22. Okay, so I can do calculations on these numbers. So they can be used in calculations. Numbers can be used in calculations. Okay, in addition to the actual numbers, Excel also stores date and time as numbers. So if you want to store, suppose, date, okay, So suppose today's date is 7/8 2020. So see, this is date. So this date, okay, and suppose the timing is 10 a.m. Oh, sorry, am. So see, this date and this time is also stored as numbers only. Okay. Now, by default the numbers are right aligned in a cell. Very important point. So if you see, this is a number type of data, and see, this is a cell, this is that entire cell. Can you see what is the alignment of this? It is getting typed on the right hand side of the cell. But if you talk about this Monday is not a number. This is not a number. This is a text type of data. And when you type text type of data, by default they get aligned to the left side. But if you talk about numbers, see, if in this cell J, okay, J3, if I type a number, suppose 500, see, I'm typing it, but I have not entered it. As soon as I press the enter key, see, it went on the right hand side. So by default all the numbers are aligned left. But can you change their alignment? Yes, you can. You just select that particular cell and go to this alignment group on the home tab, and you can make them center, you can make them left. Okay, but always they will be by default they will be aligned to the right only. Okay, so this is the first type of data that can be inserted inside the Microsoft Excel, that is your numbers. Okay, the next is text. So text data contains alphabets, numbers, spaces and special characters. Okay, text data is not used in calculations. By default text data is left aligned in a cells. Okay, most often the text entries are used for worksheet headings, names and for identifying columns of data. So see students, this is a heading, this is written in text. Yes, this is also a heading, this is also a heading. So mostly the text data is used for heading, and the text data contains alphabets, numbers. So if I type over here items 1, so see, still it is text type of data. You cannot say that items 1 is numbers. Okay, it is text only. So the text type of data can include text, that is these alphabets. Okay, it can also include numbers. Okay, it can also include numbers, it can include spaces. So Monday, suppose if I type over here item space for party, suppose. Okay, so see, it is including suppose at party 1. Okay, so see what happened, there is alphabets over here, space is also there, on a bunch of other alphabets, then space, then there are alphabets and there is a number also. This entire data is text type of data. Okay students, so this is your text type of data, and by default the text data is always aligned to the left side. But can you change its alignment? Yes, you can. Select that data. Okay, go to this alignment group on the home tab and press whichever type of alignment you want, but by default it is always on the left hand side. Okay, then the text type of data is used for headings. Okay, worksheet heading. So what is the heading of this worksheet? Weekly expenses right now. So see, this is a text type of data. Then these headings, okay, names, okay, these all these things. Okay, identifying columns of data. For this column of data, the heading is over here. Okay, so this is your text type of data. And the third type of data that can be inserted into a worksheet is the formula. Okay students, the formula. Okay, a formula is a mathematical equation involving number values, operators and cell addresses used to perform calculation on a worksheet. Okay, so formulas are used to perform calculation on the worksheet. For example, I'll show you a sample formula over here. We can also enter formula in our worksheet, and formula is used for calculations. Okay, and they contain what? Number values, operators. Operators means what? Plus, minus, divide, okay, multiplication, sign. All these signs are the operators, and cell addresses are the addresses of the different cells on which you have to perform calculation. Okay, formula can range from basic mathematical operations to complex. So it can you can type very simple mathematical formulas like adding different values, like from year to year. If you want to add, it is a very simple task. Okay, so it is a simple, but you can also use formulas for complex mathematical calculations, but you don't have to study them. Okay, then this is a very important point. Formula always begins with an equal to sign. So I will just show you a simple formula to calculate all these things. Okay, so what was the important point? That formula always begins with an equal to sign. So always start the formula with an equal to sign. Then your formula contains cell addresses. So what is this cell address? This is B3, then plus B4 plus B5 plus B6 plus B7 plus B8 plus B9, finish. So see, what is the total of all these cells? It is 22. But you can see, if you double click over here, that this is the formula. Now this formula, let me zoom it. Now see, this formula starts with an equal to sign. So see, a formula always begins with an equal to sign, and formula contains what? Is a mathematical equation involving what? Number values. So right now there are no number values over here. Okay, but you can include number values in this formula also. Okay, then see, cell addresses. This B3 is what? It's the cell address of this cell. Then what is this B4? It is the cell address of this cell. B5, cell address of this cell, and so on. Okay, till B9. Okay, and what is this plus? This is a mathematical operator. Okay, so this is how the formulas are entered inside the Microsoft Excel worksheet. So, and the whatever, suppose this is the cell where I inserted the formula. So this formula is giving me the addition of all these cells from this B3 to B9. Yes or no? Now, if I click on this cell, this will show me the total of all these numbers, okay, which are present in this cell. But in the formula bar, it will show me the formula that I have entered. Okay, so this is how you enter formula. So there are three types of data that can be inserted into a Microsoft Excel worksheet. Now the next topic is performing calculations. So see, I have already taught you how to perform calculations. Okay, but again they want to show you again how to perform calculations using the formulas. So let's start with this topic, performing calculation. So an Excel has a powerful feature to perform calculations on the data. We can perform addition, subtraction, multiplication, division of numbers either using formulas or using functions. Okay, so this we calculated using formulas. See, okay, so now they are telling us to calculate the total of these cells, that means from here to here. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so what they are telling that we need to calculate total of this over here. Okay, total of this, all these cells over here. So isn't it very easy for us? How to do it? Let's see that. Formulas are the user defined instructions to perform calculations, whereas functions are the predefined or inbuilt formulas that come with Excel. Okay, so I'll explain you the difference between a formula and a function. So don't worry about that. Okay, now see, to calculate the total expense in H3. Okay, So over here, this is H3. Okay, to calculate the total expense, what we need to do? We need to type the formula equal to B3 plus C3 plus D3 plus E3 plus F3 plus G3. So I'll start over here, equal to B3 plus C3 plus D3 plus E3 plus F3 plus G3. Okay, and then press enter. So see, the total of all these values have come. Okay, in the same manner, to calculate the total of this cell, okay, what I have to do? Okay, in H4, what I have to do? Again, I have to start with equal to, then this plus, this is C4 plus C5 plus C6, E4 plus F4 plus G4, and so on. Okay, so on you can calculate the total of all these cells. So this is using the formula. We have written a formula, but we can calculate the total of all this using function also. And for the functions are the predefined formulas. Okay, so we can use either uppercase or lowercase letters while entering the cell address in the formula. So it doesn't matter if I type this formula like this. See, right now it is in uppercase. Even if I write this in lowercase, suppose like this, B4, it doesn't matter. Okay, even if I write this in lowercase, see, B4, C4, it doesn't matter. Okay, it will be the same thing. Okay, so then Excel also provides us a quicker and easier way of performing calculations. Click the auto sum button present on the either the formulas tab on or home tab. Okay, so see, I'll tell you, over here we are going to perform a total of all these cells from year to year without using formula. We are going to use function. How to do that? Come to the cell where we want the total to appear. Okay, then go to this home tab. In home tab, come to this editing group over here and see there's an auto sum function over here. Just click on this auto sum, this sum function. Okay, and see, now it is taking sum of these two cells, but we don't want for these two cells, but we want for, just change the cell addresses. We want for this cell to this cell. Yes or no? We don't want this H4. Okay, we want from B5 to G5. So just change the cell addresses, and what is written? Equal to, this sum is called as the function. Okay, and inside the bracket we need to type from where to where we want the total, and just click on OK. See, the total from here to here has been calculated. Okay, so I will quickly calculate the total for all the other sums using this sum function. Okay, so see, equal to sum is a function. Okay, predefined formula in the bracket B6 to G6. Okay, then again I'll click on this. Now it is showing me different cells, so I will just change the cell addresses. Okay, from B7 to G7. Okay, then I want the total of year from year to year, so I'll just click on auto sum. Okay, again it is showing me a different cell, so I will change my cell address. This is B8 to G8. Okay, and click enter over here. And now again for auto sum, again I have to change the cell addresses from this B9 to G9. Okay, G9, and click enter. So see, very quickly with the help of this functions also, I have entered the I have done the calculations. So either you can use formulas like this, or you can use functions like this to calculate the sum. Okay, so now let's carry the total of all these values. Okay, a very easy step would be using the auto sum function. So go to auto sum. See, it is already giving me from H3 to H9. See, H3 to H9. Click on this, and this is the total expenses of all these values. Okay, so this is a very easy method of calculating, performing calculations in Microsoft Excel. Okay, so with this I want to put an end to this lecture. I hope you have understood how to hope you have understood how to move around the spreadsheet. Then you have also understood how to enter data, what are the different types of data, okay, and performing calculations using formula, and performing simple addition calculation using formula, and performing addition calculation using the sum function. Okay, so with this I will put an end to this lecture. Thank you for listening. Take care of yourself and be well.